All right. What's going on, everybody? Today, we have a great live stream with another great Fortnite card collector, Kari or Common Americans, and he's going to be showing some recent pickups, is what he told me, and we're just going to be talking cards for a little bit, and So how's it going, Kari?
Good. How you been, Richard? You still
Pretty
been
good.
collecting a little bit, looking through the hobby?
Yeah, of course. I've still been seeing what's getting listed on eBay, seeing the auctions and everything. Haven't pulled the trigger on anything in a while, but still been active a little bit.
I love it. Yeah, I've been trying to stay active. It's just the market's so different, so I had to shift a little bit of my collection here and there just to make sure I can move things to the way I wanted. I had to sell a lot of my Lorcana stuff because I wanted to get a little bit more into Fortnite, so that helped out too. But let me see if I can pull some stuff in that I've been working on. I'll show you some things I got through a trade. So this one I'm really happy about. Just as Ragnarok.
Crystal Shard.
Yep,
Oh, nice.
SGC 9.5. I gotta crack it. I'm gonna send it into a PSA. It looks like it'll be like a 9, but I'll just love just to get the everything uniform with PSA. So that's one that I scooped up recently.
Nice, nice.
And hybrid. Super
Okay.
happy about this one. I had to trade up for this. I think I had to trade a good amount of stuff. I forgot what I had to go, but it was a good. It was some sweaty Series 1 crystal shards, but hybrid. It was always been one of my favorites. I remember it from the Booga days during the first what was it, the
The World Cup.
FNCS? Yep.
The World
I,
Cup,
for,
yeah.
I forgot, was it Psalms that had it? I forgot who was wearing it. But there was someone I always saw wearing the skin. I always loved hybrid. Hybrid's always been one of my favorites.
Yeah, he's really cool. Awesome card.
Let me see. I think I got some trades with Dirty Dan. I trade a lot with Dirty Dan.
He's actually in chat right now. He just said what's up to us.
Oh, look at that. Okay, I'll show some of the stuff I got. He can say what we did on the trade. I think he came out pretty well too. Let me see. Well, I'll show you. He traded me this one, the Magnus, and he gave me this, a Peely base 10 and a Tac Shotgun Hollow 10. And he can say if he wants me to say what he got. So I think it was pretty even. He got a 10, whatever I gave him. But if he wants me to say what he got on the end, I can tell them that. And he also sold me some crystal shards. So I doubled up on some of these just because they're lower grade. So I got the low grade mission specialist. Oh, yeah. So for me, with this Magnus one, I gave him it was a pistol crystal shard PSA 10, which I thought was pretty good for him too.
Yeah. And
And
that
he
Magnus 9, the one you
say
gave
again,
the Magnus you gave up the pistol for is a 9.
it's an 8, and he gave a PSA 10 base Peely,
Okay, nice.
and he gave up a PSA 10 hollow tech shotgun. So I thought it was pretty even. He
Yeah.
did a good job of negotiating and trading up, so I think he did pretty well on that one. I don't think we added any cash either, so I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah,
And
that
then
Magnus PSA 5, me and him actually kind of talked a little bit about it. I showed a little bit of interest in it, but we never really did a whole lot with it though.
oh well, I think this is it then. It's
Yeah,
a
that's the one.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I worked out getting that one, and I also got the mission specialist, and I got the assault rifle. So I kind of just stacked those up.
Nice. Yeah, that mission specialist is nice as well.
Yeah, I'm super happy to get this one. I mean, some of these, I'll show you the ones that I kind of just stacked. I usually don't like stacking cards, but just the way the market is lately, I mean, if I like the card, I'll just take the low grade one too and add it to my collection. Oh, here's the other one.
Yeah, I've always been a big advocate for the low grade cards.
Oh, I love them. I mean, the majority of my shards are low grade.
Yeah, so mine I thought it was funny you pull out the Ragnarok. I bought this about a year ago in an SGC slab, and I cracked it, sent to PSA. It's a PSA 5 Ragnarok. It was an SGC 4 when I bought it.
Man, do you see how it just looks too shiny? That's like anytime I see a shard, it really doesn't matter to me because every time it hits the light, it's crazy.
Yeah, those are unmatched cards in my opinion.
Man, That look really good. You would not even think it's a 5 just by looking at it too. Like sometimes with sports card, it looks like a 5 or a 3, like those older sets. But when you see
Yeah.
that, that does not look like a 5.
Or it's like my lowest grade one, the Wukong. It's a 3. Not quite sure where it's in, right at my case right now. I'll find. Yeah, here it is. It's a PSA 3, and you can't even really tell.
Oh man, that's what I'm saying. You can't. There's no way to even know.
Yeah,
I'm always an advocate for them. Always advocate for the low grades.
of course.
But yeah, the way the market's been going, I mean, I just been stacking cards I like too. Like I went and just picked up I already had a Rust Lord, but I just scooped up another Rust Lord.
Yeah, I love Rust Lord.
Rust Lord is awesome. I'll
Yeah,
stack him all day.
nice.
I got what's his name again? Oh, Replex, and I
Okay.
already had one of him, but the price is so low. I just want to scoop another one. And
Another,
then yeah, this is the one I stacked.
yeah, I think Mission Specialist is pretty underrated.
He's been one that I felt so strongly on for a while. I mean, you may feel similarly to me because I was around during I think I started playing Fortnite season 3. No, season was it chapter 1, season 3 when
Was
they
when
had the was that the one with the spacesuits or
yeah, that
was
was season 3. Was this astronauts?
yeah, that's when I started playing. And then Mission Specialist was one of the first low tier ones you get from the Battle Pass. So I always thought he's one of the better ones, but he doesn't always sell like him. So I'm always a big Mission Specialist person or any of the astronauts.
Yeah, that season has that battle pass has so many iconic cards. Like Rust Lord is in that battle pass as well. So is a Dark Voyager.
Yep.
That season 3 battle pass is a pretty good one. A lot of
Yeah,
great cards coming out of that one.
a lot of great cards. Is Sparkle Specialist, is she in that Battle Pass or just
She was in the one before with Black Knight, Royal Knight, and Blue
oh
Squatter.
see I forget stuff like that. She's better than I thought. I didn't realize she was a season before.
Yeah, yeah. Sparkle Specialist is one that she's been putting up some crazy numbers when she does pop up, which isn't very often.
Yep. And we
Yeah,
can never get her.
yeah, people are starting to realize how good of a card she is.
I mean, she's another one. Oh, I also just been picking up some S1 hollows. There was a good sale in the Facebook group, so I had to do a little bit of pivot. I mean, I can talk you through kind of what my mindset was. This is kind of my stack that I'm gonna be sending out now. So I just got a lot of the hollows. I'm gonna probably send out the beginning. Oops, drop them all. The beginning of this week. I'm just sending out a lot of S1 hollows, and then they're not big scans. I mean, it's kind of they look like they contend. That's the ones I ended up sending in.
Nice. Yeah. Now you showed them off. You have to do the PSA reveal on the channel now.
Say it again.
When they come back, you have to do the PSA reveal on my channel now. Now that you showed them
Oh,
off.
100%. I'm gonna be ready to do that too. I'm just hoping to get like 50% because I really was more picky than I normally am. So
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes.
How do you feel about some of the recent hollow sales? Like I know a Lux just did it was like $37, I believe.
That was a PSA 9 too, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was.
It's starting to get everything is so low with Fortnite cards. It just makes it hard for me to say like it's hard for me not to pick up. I usually try not to pick up too much stuff, but the price is so low, I'm just picking up more than I normally would, and everything's a deal at this point. Like to get a Lux for $37. I mean, it looked like the seller canceled. That's how good of a deal it was.
Yeah.
But I don't think people saw the SGC Hollow Lux SGC 10. That one for like $55.
Oh wow, I did not see that. I didn't see that either.
Yeah, so it's like the hollows have gotten to. They've always been pretty underrated, but it's gotten to an extreme extent now that I kind of had to pivot a little bit to start picking some of them up because I saw the price they were selling for. Um, I mean, I love my S2 Optis. Like those are really underrated now too. Everything's underrated. It's just
Yeah.
not a collector. So whatever you really want to pick up, I kind of started to feel like I'm pigeonholed a little bit by going after the S2 Opti PSA 10 set because I'm missing some of these hollow sales because I'm so focused on the Opti set and it takes so long. So it's making me consider should I just pivot a little bit. and pick up some of these S1 hollows, even of the lower tier skins. But we'll see.
Yeah. So how is that Optichrome set going?
Oh man, I think I have. I don't have that case, but I have like I think I'm at like 105 of them.
Oh wow, all in tens.
Yeah, all 10.
Wow, that congratulations, man. That's incredible already.
Yeah, it's been a big journey too. It's just I'm not a set collector. It just was the prices were so low. I kind of made a pivot to start scooping those up. So I got
Yeah,
to see what I truly want to do at this point. I'm kind of in that middle ground area where I'm considering consolidating a little bit, but it's just so many. The sales have been throwing me off of what things have been going for.
yeah. So with those hollows, you grabbed a bunch of them, and you're gonna grade them of those ones. You plan on moving into other bigger cards, or just keeping those and holding them for a while?
It's hard to say. I mean, usually I have a plan exactly what I want to do, but I know. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to say exactly what I'm planning to do. I'm considering holding on to them. I'm considering selling them to just get more crystal shards. I don't know how much. I noticed that this time around, I'm not really considering selling them to get more S2 Optichrome PSA 10s. Usually, I'm in that train of thought where I'll just sell it, get more Optichromes. But I've gotten so many, and I gotten the top tier ones. It just make me kind of consider pivoting a little bit more than I typically think, because the S1 crystal shards have been so low. Like the auctions you were talking about, those went crazy low.
Yeah,
$100 for the sniper, 140 for the drum gun.
yeah. And then the 6 shooter did 110 as well.
Yeah, I mean all of those.
Crack
And
shot did
then
130.
130 for that, and in their good condition. Like I got
Yeah,
the sniper. This one probably was the worst condition one. It's probably like an 8 because it has a bad corner. The drum gun looked really good, and the 6 shooter looked really good. So it's like if the prices are this low for the crystal shards, and these are raw ones, I feel like I'm starting to miss out a little bit by going so hard on the Opti set. So we'll see what I end up doing. I might still stick with the Opti set, but these prices with Fortnite have been. I did not think it would stay this long, and then it kept going down too.
yeah. So how do you feel about the prices of the sealed product? Like how they do you think they kind of match where the card sales are going, or do you kind of what do you think about that?
The sealed product,
Yeah, the prices of sealed.
the megas are they 800 now
Yeah,
for the S?
they're 8 to 9. Yeah,
It makes me every time I've seen the S1 mega boxes, I always feel like they're too dirt cheap. So I really think those should be more expensive because the fact that you can, if you look at any sports card that you would try to buy, like let's say you would buy a hobby box of Prism, I think that's $1,000.
yeah, just about.
It's like 95% of the time you lose 90% of your money,
Hmm.
even after grading and selling. But with the Fortnite megas, you're like 80%, or I mean, you can a lot of the times you get pretty close to breaking even with opening the mega box. So that seems pretty. That's that's crazy in itself that you can buy, grade, and flip the megas compared to other aspects of the card hobby. So it makes me feel like the megas are still undervalued, even with the price of the crystal shards dropping to such a big extent. I think the megas are still too cheap. If there was an individual that really just wanted to chase and try to get a Black Knight, you can just keep free rolling going after the Black Knight by just grading some of the two crystal shards. You'll probably get pretty close to a like at least one of them should get a 10, and then the other one is typically around the 8 to 9. So you'll be pretty close to that $800 range every time you flip and grade it. So I think the megas are too cheap. I thought there would be someone to take that chance and do that, but there hasn't been an individual to try that route yet. It is expensive, but if you just go and do that once a month, you would be near breaking even every time you do it until you get your Black Knight, or you can get a Gold Trooper drift. You can just work until you get that top one.
I like that. I like that. That's actually a pretty good idea. I haven't really thought of that. That's pretty cool. That'd be cool if somebody were to do that and kind of like document it.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go. I thought about doing it before because I was in that impasse when I met a lot of the collecting goals after I had gotten a lot of the shards I wanted. But I decided to kind of go after the Optichrome set. I feel like looking back, I probably should have just done that. I should have went the flipping route of just selling the crystal shards until I got one of the big cards. But I still think someone should do it because the price of the megas dropped even more.
See, JT said the big spenders are no longer buying the megas at either holding or selling extras.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, with the big collectors, they're going after the raw ones. It seems like because they don't want to take the risk on getting a mega, ripping it, and don't get anything out of it. They want to buy the Ghoul Trooper or the Drift or the Fish Sticks, whichever one they want.
Yep. And I think you're spot on with that because when we see the raw, I think they're going over the top cards because when you see the Skull Trooper that hit 2K now, it
Yeah,
always was high, but it was not 2K high. The fish stick that's like $700 raw. It was high too, but
a
the
Fish
top
Stick at
end.
1100 raw.
Oh, I mean, and then I can't even argue because I think it's a solid price. I think the people that have the money they understand just get the top card and just move on.
Yeah,
I think that's why these lower tier shards and mid tier shards are just falling under the radar when they're low grade or raw. Those are going a little too low. But it seems like the PSA 10 premium is still sitting pretty strong off of the sales I've been seeing off of those.
yeah, yeah. The PSA 10 to raw still seems like there's a pretty good jump. You know, the 9 to raw is they're almost the same price now, which I don't understand, but that's kind of unfortunate to see. I'd say.
Yeah, and that's a surprise to me too. It's just a hole in the market. I don't know if that one's going to get really filled, but it's just a if you can just pivot your collection, and it just points to the perspective of a lot of consolidation. You can consolidate your collection to move more into the crystal shards if that's what you want. You can consolidate and get a lot of these S1 hollows. If you want to consolidate all your crystal shards, just go over S1 hollows. You can do that. You can consolidate and just go after all the big cards only. I mean, there's so many ways you can just make a big dent on whatever you want to do, and a lot of people have done that. Um, that the opportunities are endless with the way things are right now. Even in a low market, you can still do well even by selling your cards lower than what you value them at.
Yeah, for sure. And I like how you talk about maybe moving shards into hollows because hollows are, I mean, shards are underrated right now, but hollows are on a whole different level of underrated right now.
Yep,
And you're definitely trying to capitalize on that with all the ones you add, and they're going to get graded and everything. So,
yep,
yeah, it's just crazy with the price of a hollow compared to if you were to buy a fat pack box or a gravity feed box and you get, 2 to 3 hollows, and then you could just go buy 2 or 3 decent hollows for the same price.
yep. Which is it always floors me where the market sits. Like the market has gotten a lot better at understanding the card aspect of collecting because I think a lot of people initially were just maybe they came just from sports cars or they just wanted to collect Fortnite only. There wasn't a lot of people that were a mix of both, and then the market got better at having people grade. But I've seen less people are grading again. That's kind of what got me my initial jump. Is not a lot of people grade with Fortnite, and they don't grade correctly. Um, it seemed like that gap has opened up again. So that's what
Yeah,
I'm gonna look at that and see what I really want to do on that side of things. See if I want to push crystal shards. I want to push hollows. There's a lot of different ways to go about it. Again,
I like that you brought up the point about the guys come from sports cards, and it seems like the guys that come from sports cards, they chase the shards because they're the rarest of them all, and the people that come from in game, they chase more after the skin on the card rather
yeah,
than the rarity of the card.
they do.
And I feel like honestly, what cards will be more valuable in the future will be dependent on if more sports card collectors are in the hobby or more Fortnite gamers are in the hobby.
Yep, and and based off of that point too, that tells me when we see so many people focus at going after only the skin. Like say someone is a big you can say like a
Uno,
big bright bomber, like a big
Bright
bright.
Bright Bomber's pretty big, yeah.
Yeah, if someone's a big bright bomber collector and they just want to get all the hollows, all the crystal shards, and even the base. But then the sports card collectors, they know the best card is the crystal shard. It will start becoming a mix, in my opinion, where that PSA 10 of those top end ones will get crazy expensive, even if we don't get a big jump of people entering. I think those are going to be the ones that have it's always gonna have a huge baked in price. Like a PLA PSA 10, that's always gonna be crazy. Bard Bomber, Skull Trooper. Now, I think that one's about to get crazy too. Even if we don't have that influx of the gamers, influx of the people from Fanatics coming in or tops. Even if that doesn't happen, I think those top end Crystal Shard of the top skins will go crazy.
Yeah, and I do think it could kind of be confusing for new collectors that come from in game because they see a card. I don't know what's a crystal shard that's not very well known in game. Whatever. We use Deadfire as an example.
Yeah.
His PSA 10 just sold for about $300. He's not the best. He's not known in game at all, but he's pretty recognized in the card hobby. So somebody just comes from Fortnite and they see a card like Hush, who sells for like $150, they'd be confused because to them Hush is so much better than Deadfire.
Yeah. And oh, you're talking about like even a Hush in PSA 8, like
Yeah.
condition. Yeah. And they would value it. I mean, I'm sure a pure Fortnite player would value that PSA 8 Hush over the Deadfire because they don't really know the difference. It doesn't mean it's right or wrong. We're just going to see how the market ends up going. But for me, I mean, I think I know Fortnite enough where I believe that the PSA 10 Deadfire is better than the Hush, even though Hush is the better skin. But we'll see what the market decides in the end.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of brought up in my live stream the other day is a lot of the statistics we use to try to speculate what cards will be good. It's just pure speculation. It's no different than like prospecting a player coming up from college into the NFL. There's really no way of knowing until they actually play. There's really no way of knowing what cards are going to be good until a lot more people join the hobby and we see the prices after that happens.
Yep, I agree with that too. I mean, if what do you think in your opinion? If you were collecting long term, would you go with a Fortnite gamer that only goes after a high end skin, or would you go from the side of a sports car collector? Well, that would focus more on the crystal shards. What do you think you would shoot for?
For me, for investment purposes, I'd go with the Fortnite gamer because if we want the hobby to truly blow up, we don't want the sports card guys. We want the Fortnite gamer people as we want in the hobby if we want to truly get to its fullest potential. I mean, I was just playing a couple hours ago and there was over like 700 people just playing the battle royale right now. So like 700,000 people. So we want that group. We don't want whatever sports cards people could come in because they probably don't even have a true passion for the cards like a gamer would have.
Sure.
So that's why I personally, just for investment, I maybe would go with like a Hush cracked ice over a Deadfire crystal shard, but not for my personal collection. But that's just more for investment purposes. What I'd go with.
Okay, I like that perspective because just if you're believing in the gamer being the driving force, then that's why you would go after the Hush, which makes sense.
Yeah, it's like I do believe that eventually the gamers will be the driving force of the hobby. But me personally, no matter what, I'm still going to collect what I like. That's why I'm buying these crystal shards of skins that aren't very notable in game, like Deadfire, Moisty, Merman, Ruckus.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
yeah, because I'm going to collect what I like no matter what. And I still believe in those shards. I'm not saying they're bad cards at all. They're still fantastic cards. But I just think the potential for the highest growth would be a card like Hush or Zadie or Kuno or Focus.
That's a good point. I really like that perspective too, and then I like that you bring that up because that reminds me how long we've been in the hobby, how this has turned more into a collecting instead of just a straight investment. Because at first, I for sure I saw it more of as an investment, and I was going to go more after just the top end skins. But when you start looking at just how these crystal shards look, like how we were looking at the rest low, well, I'm trying to see a lower tier one of these not top ones. Like if you just see how it looks, it just draws your eyes. And I like Fortnite
Yeah.
anyway. It just draws your eyes to it.
It's like the art on them too, the way the skin looks. They're very highly quality designed characters as well.
They
So
are.
that yeah.
Yeah, it's very hard. I look at that too with the fact that for me, I was so much into just seeing it as an investment, and it'll be a fun investment since I love Fortnite too. But as you dig deeper into it, it's just these cars will just draw your eyes, and then they'll make you collect things that you didn't think you would collect. It made me go after crystal shards that I wasn't really thinking I was going to go after, but they just are so gorgeous.
Yeah, I like your point about going after shards that something you really wouldn't care about unless it was on a crystal shard. And like that's something like with the glider shards, it's like just
Another one.
they pop. It's like I mean, who cares about this random glider? But the way the card looks, I could see it being valuable in the future just because of how beautiful the shine is.
That's what I think too. And then I think that goes back to I think I put in your chat about the floor of these Series One crystal shards, especially USA ones. They'll always be at least something because they just look so beautiful on display. I think I have one like that you just showed off too. They just look amazing when you're just looking at it in person and you can just show it off a little bit. Like I have the Dark Gilf one.
Oh, you got the only two glider shards.
Yeah, on the same screen.
That's pretty cool. What grade is yours?
I like the grade too, 7.5.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, mine's a 9, but that 7.5 is really cool.
Yeah, and look at them. I mean, they look so cool.
Yeah.
You don't get stuff like that.
No. And so this was one I was kind of talking about was the Ruckus PSA 6. I bought this for $40 over 2 years ago though. So I mean, shards were selling dirt cheap a long time ago.
Yeah.
It really isn't anything new. It's just kind of people are starting to be more aware of it.
And yep, I think you may not realize it, but I think you woke people up when you started talking about your $40 purchase on the Ruckus. I think you had a low one on that Ragnarok you got too.
Oh, the Ragnarok was under $200.
I mean, stuff like that made people say, "Wait a minute, why are we going after these? The 9, the 10, when you get a 5 and it looks like that." Oh yeah, the Wukong too. Didn't you get that for 100?
It was like 105. Yeah.
That woke me up too when I saw you're getting stuff like that.
I got the aim for 102.
And that 9 or 10?
It's an 8.
Jeez.
Yeah. But yeah, those are some of my better deals. I know I got the Heyman for 110.
That's another good price. And it got a 9?
Yeah, I got a 9. Well, I know my Moth Mano, that's a 10. I got it for $90.
Oh my gosh almighty.
Yeah, so I mean I've got I got some good deals in the past. The crack shot was 100 even.
Oh, it's so crazy when you think about it too.
Yeah. Have you gotten any like good steals like that? Any snipes as they call them?
Let me see. Snipe, like a raw to grade snipe,
or just anything anything that you got for a lot less than it's actually worth. You got a good deal.
I don't think how I got nope, not the mission. I gotta really look. Some of them I'm trying to remember how I even got them. Let me see. Oh, I'll bring out the set. I think you'll remember. You might remember when I show you these, and then I'll find another one.
All right.
I'll show you. I think it was one.
But yeah, I mean, this just goes to show for anyone watching, they can find great deals on good cards. They're out there. Yeah.
Easily. I mean, I would say these 3. I think I'm missing one. I got them for, I think it was like 110 for the whole lot.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah. Yeah, there was 4 cards. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm missing one. Or it might have been like 160. It wasn't a lot. But I got all of them in a lot together.
That SMG probably pays for all of it, honestly.
Oh, yeah, easily. And then there's no reason to move it anyway.
Yeah.
It's so low. And then I like them, too, because it's basically I paid the price of for a S1 Hollow, and I got the Crystal Shard, even if it's a little gray. That's how I usually think about it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I love that perspective. I mean, you're getting the best version of that card, even though it's not in the highest condition. You're still getting the best version of that card.
100%. Man, I don't think I had any. See, my stuff isn't. I guess it makes me realize I don't always buy a lot to get into my Crystal Shard. I often trade. I trade to get into them. So I may trade like a bunch of S1 Hollows to get to the Crystal Shard I want, or I might trade like the other Crystal Shards to get into a Crystal Shard I want.
Okay.
So I did a lot of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's another great way to approach it is moving shards for shards or hollows for shards, trading up, or even trading one big shard for multiple. That's a great way to do it.
Yep. It's harder now because no one wants to give up the big shard, which I understand.
Yeah, a lot of these collectors, it's a black hole when they get their cards. Once they enter the collection, it does not come out.
And I don't blame them. Anytime I see them do that too, because I was the same way. I think this is the one I got from JT. He sent me like a lot deal, and I got these three.
You got a visitor? Nice.
Yep, got the visitor too. It's low grade, but same thing. I always take a low grade. I don't mind it.
What grade is
Oh,
that visitor?
jump shot. I don't know. I had this one for a while. The visitor is a 6.
Okay, nice. I remember seeing that one on eBay actually.
Yep, I had to move some things to get into it.
Yeah, visitor is an amazing card.
It just looks nice too.
Yeah, the pose he's hitting too is like one of the best.
Oh man,
With the arms crossed. Hey, what's up, Dylan? Dylan from Taking High Ground. How's it going?
what's up, Dylan?
Also, JL. He said he loves Heyman and Moth Mando. Yeah,
I
those are
like
two.
those too.
Yeah, those are two I've been happy to add to my collection. The nostalgia and rarity should ensure the card's long-term value. The beauty of the shards kind of hook people. That's JL. He said that. Yeah, for sure. The beauty of the shards is really what gets people.
I think that was my big thing too. I
Yeah.
don't know if you used to look at Epic Epic Vault or something like that. They used to show off their collection when it was at the peak of Fortnite.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I used to see all the crystal shards. I was like, how does one person get all those crystal shards when the mega is like 2K? And he was just submitting, like, it was like 100 card submission of crystal shard.
Yeah, I remember that. Well, I wasn't around at that time, but when I first joined the hobby, I saw his videos, and I was just like, how? Like, because at the time, I had a very small collection, didn't have anything really, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, how does one person have all this? That's why it's kind of crazy for me to just like look, and I own 16 USA shards now. It's just honestly unbelievable to me. I'm sure you feel the same way.
I feel the same way every time I look at it too. I never thought I'd have as many crystal shards as I had because I just thought everyone would just keep holding on to it. So it just feels amazing just to have this kind of stuff.
If you
I don't know
want
what I'm.
to, what is your total number of shards if you want to share?
I can't give the number because
Okay.
it might jar people, but it's more than 20.
Wow. That's
So
awesome. Well,
I've been trying to.
congratulations on that.
Yeah, it's been a lot of work to try to build it up to where it's at. I'm hoping to get to. I mean, with me considering what I want to do with the collection, I would love maybe one day to get to 100, even if it's 10 years from now.
Yeah, I think
But
that's almost like everyone's goal is to get to triple digit shards.
yeah, which just displaying that would be crazy.
Yeah, like just put them all out like a showcase or something, just to see the shine on them.
Oh my gosh, I can't. I just can't wait for that.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you're big on now in the hobby that you feel like people are slipping under?
Honestly, I just think the sweatier skins I feel like it seems like they're starting to kind of get up there,
Yeah,
while some of the other ones are going down. Like I believe it was Shadow Ops sold for almost $1,000 in a PSA 10 a
I
couple
saw
weeks
that.
ago.
Yeah,
And it's like, honestly, I don't think that's a bad price at all for her. I think that's a very reasonable price. And it's like, then you see Deadfire selling for like a third of that. I mean, I love Deadfire, but me personally, I don't hate that comparison because Shadow Ops in game is known way more than Deadfire. And back
yeah,
to that original point we were talking about was that we think that the Fortnite player base will end up being the driver we want for the hobby, not the sports card community.
yep. And I think that's still kind of it showed me how much more maturity the hobby has now for it to reflect correctly. Because truly, Shadow Ops probably should be 3 times the price of Deadfire, not just because of the relevance in game, but Deadfire is a little bit is one of the easier shards to gem anyway. And the fact, and then you get on top of that, Shadow Ops is an amazing skin, and it looks good too.
Yeah. And
So
plus, she's holding the bolt action sniper on Shadow Ops' card. She's holding the weapon.
and she got that. Now I want a Shadow Ops. See, I didn't even think about all that.
Now we both have to get a Shadow Ops. Is that what I'm starting to understand?
Yeah, now I got to see if anyone has a Spear Shadow Ops. That's a PSA 3 that they might want to give up.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I believe another one was Ember. Now she's not the most sweaty skin, but she is pretty well known in game, and she sold for I believe it was 980.
I saw the Ember sale. it it made sense to me, but not because it seemed a little too high. Because I do feel like Shadow Ops should have sold a little bit higher. Because Ember is the same season as Peely, right?
Yeah, they were same battle pass. Yep.
I I felt like that was a little bit higher than I thought. I mean, I didn't think she because when you start getting to that $1,000 range, I think you're top tier card, like top 30. So
Oh
I
yeah.
was a little surprised she got to that.
Dylan said whenever you talk about them holding specific weapons, it gets interesting. That's why I
Yeah,
kind of do like Bull Shark from Series 2 because he's
yeah,
holding the scar.
I like
So
that too.
yeah, Bull Shark, and then one of the I believe it's Cozy Commander is holding the pump shotgun from Series 2, the Christmas skin.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, and then I believe the another one is holding the rocket launcher.
Oh, see, I'd be missing that. If someone could make a whole collection off of the skins holding weapons.
Oh, that would be that's pretty cool right there if someone can do that.
Oh, the other one I think they were talking about on THG was the Splatterella with the scar.
Oh yeah.
That one looks nice too.
Yeah, she's also holding the scar like Bull Shark, and she's probably a better looking. She's definitely a better looking card than Bull Shark is.
I'm surprised that one's not Swiss skin. That's one of my favorite, just look wise of S3.
Yeah, for sure. And then another good, well known in game skin that sold for a lot in a shard was a Sunstrider. She did like $800, I believe it was.
Yep, I saw that. That one, I agree with that sale too. Isn't that same? Well, what do you think? Would you rather a Sunstrider or a Shadow Ops? Because they're
I
about the same.
that's close. They both sold for about the same. I think I'm giving the edge to Shadow Ops though.
Me too. Yep.
Yeah.
Me because I would think, even though Ember sold for the most, I think I would want Shadow Ops, Sunstrider, then Ember for me.
Yeah, I think you hit that head on the nail right there. As I'm going with that order as well.
But they're all good. They're all
Oh yeah,
good
they're
skins.
all fantastic cards. Dylan said that they mentioned a bunch of them. They don't remember the rocket launcher one. Yeah, it's one of the. I know it's a thing though. It's one of the Christmas skins and the pajama Christmas skins in Series 2.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at it too. I'm sure there has to be one with it.
Yeah,
Uh,
those are all good cards though. All the Christmas skin pajama ones.
the one I'm worried about because you know how there's been like 4S1 USA Shards PSA 10 sold a week by the same seller.
Yeah,
I'm dreading the day that the Zoe goes up because something in my gut is telling me it's going to sell higher than I anticipate. Because I
Zoe.
have,
That's a good card right there in my opinion.
I don't know what's going to happen because I was hoping that it would just get slipping under the rug, but it just is not. I could not find it, and it's not even a big card within the community. But now I'm just making me wonder: do people actually consider the big card? They just don't. That's why it doesn't go for sale.
Yeah, me personally, I do believe Zoe is actually a pretty good card. Definitely, I definitely think she's top 75 in Series 1.
Ah, crap. Well, I got no. Maybe I had no shot then.
I don't know. I've been saying that for almost a year now. I remember a while back I was talking up Zadie because one did sell, I believe, a while ago.
I mean, Zoe.
Zoe, yeah. Did I misspeak and say Zadie?
Yeah.
Oh, I meant this. I'm the pink skin from Series 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Do, do, do you remember from when we were playing? Wasn't I always felt like she was super sweaty too.
Well, back in Chapter 1, Season 4, I wouldn't say she was sweaty, but she was definitely worn when she came out in that battle pass.
Her, she was worn. I feel like I guess he's not sweaty either, but I saw a lot of people wearing Wukong.
Yeah. Wukong. A lot of people wore Wukong back in the day just because he was one of the not the first, but he was one of the very first 2000 V-Bucks skins. So it's kind
Yeah,
of a flex to be able to have him and show him off.
there's a lot of fun skins like that. The
Yeah.
OG, like that first season, it was fun to be around then because you can just see people wearing. They didn't care about how bulky the skin was; they were just wearing it if they liked the skin.
Yeah, it's like I kind of like that going for those kind of skins from like Chapter 1, Season 1 through 4. Those skins that, would never be worn today, but people
Yeah.
wore them like crazy back then. I think that there's kind of like a cool mystique to those kind of skins, like Wukong.
Yep, that one. I just love that one when I look back on it too. I don't remember. Do you remember seeing Wild Card a lot? The
Oh,
original.
Wildcard, yeah. He's worn a lot still to this day. Actually, yeah.
He was
I remember about a year or two ago when Chapter 4 came out, they had a whole event dedicated to the wild card style skins.
Yeah, the heist, right? Something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, and then back when wild card first came out, they had a similar event as well. So they've had two events throughout Fortnite dedicated to the wild card and the ace skins, which actually have an ace crystal shard.
When did you get an ace?
I bought it from Black Ash at the National.
Oh my gosh, your collection has gotten crazy. I didn't know you had the ace too.
Yeah, that's one. I don't know. It's one that I never expected to own, but I just kind of did. Just kind of fell into my hands, I guess, at the National to kind of help close the deal out. Because the deal was Visitor, the Ace, and the Snow Squall Glider. I
Yeah,
bought from all raw, and they all got nines, so that's pretty cool.
that's a good grade too.
Yeah,
But there's so many. The nostalgia. I can't wait to see if this stuff actually gets nostalgic. Because it's fun just to be able to talk about those early seasons, just because of how much fun it was. Because I was coming off of playing a lot of Overwatch, and Fortnite felt like freedom from the constant stress and the beginning stages of Fortnite before people got too sweaty. I just used to love landing at the different spots. Moisty Myers.
yeah. It's like for me, the cards already bring me nostalgia. It's like if I'm going through my cards and I see a card of a skin that either me or one of my friends used to wear back in Chapter One when we all played together, which it's hard to get anybody from back then even play now, but
Yeah,
like kind of brings back the memories, the different POIs, the different weapons, and just the good times playing with all those people that you really can't go back to that, which is I definitely think the cards are going to be nostalgic for that reason.
yep. And then just the unwillingness for the people, for any of us to really want to sell it at a certain point too.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be hard for people to let go of these cards. I feel like even if you aren't from Fortnite, you end up getting attached to these cards just because of how cool the characters look, like how we talked about how high quality the designs of the characters are in general. And then plus with the beauty of the cards, I think people are getting attached to them that aren't even Fortnite fans.
I think that's a big part of it too. I mean, is there if you if you just look at the pile you have and you pick out the card that you just like the look of, which would be the one that you pull out just off of look?
Just off of look, I'm
Just
probably gonna go with there's a couple I'm thinking about here.
let me see.
Yeah, let's just pull out our favorites based off look.
I'm gonna try to pull out two.
All right. I got three right here. I got. Here, I'll show my three real quick. So, my first one, I got to go with the golden shard on aim.
That's a good one. That's
Yeah.
a good one.
And then we already talked about this earlier on is the gliders.
Oh, you're coming out hot. Okay, those are all good. That's another good one.
And then I'm gonna end it off with the neon green on Deadfire.
Okay. See, now I got to really think about that. Okay, hold on. The Deadfire is crazy. The Deadfire is like the one that sets it off because the crystal shard pattern, it almost makes it look like it's the flames.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. Plus that purple and green color combination is it's just crazy to look at his card. Yeah, whoever got that PSA 10 Deadfire for whatever it was, like 387, I bet they're pretty happy right now.
I think so too. I would be happy too.
Yeah.
So one, I would say drum gun.
Yep.
Because I just like the look of the shard pattern on it when I'm looking at it. This one, I like the Funk Ops a lot. I like the color. And I like the look of his vest.
Well, I didn't know you had a Funk Ops. That's a real nice card. I like him a lot, actually.
Yeah, I had picked them up a while ago. It had started because I had gotten the PSA 4 Funk Ops from Dirty Dam. Then I traded up to get the 9.
Nice.
And then Spider Knight.
Yeah, now that card has some aesthetics to it.
Man, I just like the way this one looks. I would never. It's another skin I would never mess with in game.
Yeah, Spider Knight is a great looking card. That's like one of those cards that the people that come from sports cards really like, but the people that come from the game are like, why would anyone even want this?
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
it's like, yeah, that's a really good example of that. Is all the sports people love Spider Knight.
Yep. Just because it goes crazy aesthetically. Yeah. I mean, I think the one, if you had to say the skin that mixes the aesthetics of what the sports side of people would think, and then the in-game love, the one that I think made sense when people picked it. One, I mean, I guess Black Knight's probably number one because it looks crazy good.
Yeah,
and it's a good skin. And I think the Red Knight is probably up there too.
Yeah, and a lot of the sweat skins the sports guys don't like because a lot of the sweat skins is just like some female skin that's just kind of like standing there. And there's not
Yeah.
like a crazy pose or some crazy design on it. Like if you look at Aura and then you look at, Spider Knight or Deadfire, it's like which one do you think looks cooler? Almost everyone's gonna say
It's Spider.
Deadfire and Spider
Yeah.
Knight.
Yeah.
But in game, everyone coming from the gaming community is gonna say Aura's so much better.
Yep. And then they'll say by a lot. It wouldn't even be Aura would be so far above the other two. It'd be kind of sickening.
Yeah. Yeah, and honestly, I believe Aura is 10 times the card that Deadfire or Spider Knight is.
Oh, okay. So that's a good question for you. If you had to say, if if you had a Spider Knight PSA 10 and a Deadfire PSA 10, would you trade both to get the Aura?
Well, for PC reasons, I never do that, but for investment purposes, I'm doing that every time.
That's a great answer. I think that's a really good answer. I think
And
that's probably the correct way to say it too.
and I don't know if you noticed, but I'm mainly for cards. I came from sports cards. I did not come from just the game. I came from sports cards. I've been collecting sports cards for almost 10 years, and I think that's true for almost all the sports guys that they like the cards like Deadfire and Spider Knight.
That's a that was a very good answer. Because just looking at if I had my collection, I'm just looking at my cards. I probably wouldn't want to look at the Deadfire and Spider Knight.
Yeah, it's like I don't have a whole lot of cards of the super sweaty skins. Like I do have a Kuno cracked ice, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like, I mean, it's like to me, it's like what card looks more visually appealing to me. I just think the enforcer,
It
like just
does.
some great looking kind of. I don't even know what he's supposed to be, but he looks awesome compared to. I mean, yeah, sure, Kuno has a cool design, but I don't know, like
There's something about it.
yeah, and
But
plus
and
the.
then me, oh, go ahead.
Oh no, you can go.
For me, like when I'm thinking about it more from even the investment side, like if I had the option of getting the two S1 shards versus the Aura, it's hard for me. The only reason Deadfire maybe not because of how many there are. There will be a PSA 10 of that versus some of the others, but it's hard for me to say for sure the Aura would long term be more valuable than those two because I know how much people love the first series of Pokemon, like how big
Yeah,
of a deal that was, and how they kind of did the same thing with Lorcana. And I just wonder, card collectors will come into Fortnite if this thing takes off with the top series. I think the knee jerk reaction would be to do the series one again. So maybe initially, like the initial long term investment would be better for the series one. But then after that fall off, and then people get educated with the higher senses of how many people are in the community, then it may be Aura after that.
yeah, and the thing that I would also think about is with the Series 2 cards, I mean, they're almost just as rare as Series 1 cards. People like to
Yeah,
talk about the print run differences. I mean, the Cracked Ice Series 2 is just as rare than the Series 1 shards.
that's true. That's a good point.
And also,
Oh,
if you can find a Series 1 shard that checks that sweatskin box, that's a beast of a card right there.
they that is
Like
true.
we were talking about Shadow Ops, that checks the sweatskin box, and it's a Series 1 crystal shard. I mean, that card is a fantastic card.
Yep. Even another one that's probably underrated is like a Dominator. When
Okay,
that
yeah.
came out,
Oh yeah,
was
of
used.
course, Dominator.
But if
That
you had to
orange
say
we
if
like
you had to say your top five S2 cards, where would you put your top five at?
my top five S2 cards. I'm definitely going Aura number one.
I like it.
I feel like I got to fit Zadie in there somewhere. I want to squeeze Ice King in there, but I don't know if I can.
Still good.
I think Ice King might actually not make it. I'm definitely gonna put Hush up there. So I'm going Aura, Zadie, Hush.
Ooh.
I'm gonna put World Warrior up there
Oh, what makes you pick World Warrior?
just because what she represents with the World Cup.
I like that answer.
And Lynx.
I was waiting for you to say Lynx.
Yeah.
So the three I know I'm going to say is Aura, Lynx, and Ice King. I know those are going to be the three, or the top three. I'm just I've been thinking a lot about the Lynx thing of late, and I want to say Lynx should be one, just because it's sweaty, it's hard to grade, and it has. I think I think Dylan had mentioned it too. I didn't even realize the thing about the cutscene. I forgot that she was part of the cutscene with Midas, and she
Yeah.
was played around that time too. So I think
Yeah.
that's actually a pretty good factor. I I want to say I always have said Ice King is one, but I want to start switching and feeling like it's Lynx.
Okay.
And then for me, I still would. I don't think it's wrong to put Aura at one. I think majority of people would put Aura at one. I don't think that's wrong. I think that's just the way. That's the safer way to see it, and I think that probably will be true long term. But for me, I think Lynx will be one. I like Ice King because I think of what he represents too. Because the biggest event before the black hole was the whole Ice King season. That's when I remember people playing the most, and people were talking about the lore of what Ice King is. And it was around the holiday time too, when a lot of people were playing. So that's why I always felt Ice King was two, and then Aura. But I understand why people always say Aura is one. So for me, I go Lynx, Ice King, Aura. I like Echo.
Okay. Yeah. Echo. Yep. That's a really good one.
I usually go Echo because she's just one I've always tried to get. I could never run into to getting her for the crystal cracked ice PSA 10. That's a hard one. And then last, I want to say Hush, but I feel like I'm forgetting someone between Hush and Zadie. I like Hush more. I just
Yeah.
like the way Hush looks.
Yeah. I think Hush is a fantastic card. One card that used to be, in my opinion, was like a consensus top five was Manic, but she really dropped off.
She dropped off a lot. Yeah, I'm a little surprised by that one too.
Yeah, I really do think Manic is still a fantastic card, though. I mean, she represents a lot with Fortnite, I'd say.
Yep, and then she's tied to Cypher PK too, right?
Yeah, that was his main skin up until he got his icon skin, and he
Yep.
put references to Manic in his icon skin. So
And then that tells us how crazy S2 is too, because we didn't even mention like a Ruby, um, Sludge. I'm not Sludge. Ripley. You didn't say nothing about Ripley.
Ripley's a fantastic card.
He's nice. Oh, Catalyst. We haven't seen anything about Catalyst too. There's a lot of top tier cards from
Well, what about Chaos Agent and her 8 ball?
oh, Chaos Agent 8. Well, those are some more too.
Yeah, there's actually an 8 ball up for auction right now. A rock cracked ice.
Oh, Raw one too.
Yeah.
I've been running out of money.
Crystal.
Oh, I didn't even talk about Crystal. She's borderline should be top five.
Yeah.
See, it's hard. It is so hard to pick from series two. I think there's so many good ones.
I mean, then you also. I mean, Hayes is really good too.
A's is another one.
A Tigress.
Oh, has she fallen off a little bit?
She's definitely fallen off from her peak, but she's still a fantastic card in my opinion.
Jesus, yeah, that's another one. I'm sure I'm forgetting a lot too. I
Well,
wish I had my
Mecha Team Leader is a great card.
Mecha as well. We already said Bush Ranger.
No, we haven't talked about Bush Ranger. He was in that same trailer with Lynx and Midas in them. So
I
was
mean,
Chaos Agent.
series two is crazy.
Oh, it's Series 2. Yeah, all the sets are actually incredible if you really start breaking it down card by card. We got JT talking about Paradigm and Singularity fell off, but they were high at one point. Yeah,
Yeah,
Singularity is one of my personal favorites.
it looks
Beautiful
so good.
card. Yeah. And then
Paradigm. Paradigm's a safe one. Like Paradigm is a safe storyline skin just because it seemed like they already tried to tie her to an actor.
yeah, I love Paradigm.
I like Paradigm too. That's another one I completely forgot about.
Yeah, and if you want to talk about falling off, you got to talk about the Ruiner. I mean Ruiner and the Prisoner. These two have fallen off.
They fell off.
I thought these two were going to be like top tier from Series 2. That definitely didn't turn out that way.
Visitor fell off too. I'm a little
Oh,
surprised.
yeah, I know that kind of hurts. Is that the Visitor fell off? We both have a shard of him. That
Yeah,
definitely hurts me.
that hurt too. I'm trying to see one that I believe in a lot that fell off pretty badly.
like for me with the way I collect, I don't have a whole lot of cards that have fallen off. Really, they've just kind of decreased with the whole group because like I never really went for those cards that were hot at the time. That's just not really what I was able to do or what I really wanted to do. No matter what, I kind of collected what I liked.
Yep. Now that I'm looking, I think I'm in the same boat. Which that says that's a good sign though that we didn't have that big drop just because of the market correcting. That means you probably picked correctly. I don't really see any of them that I overdid it on.
Daniel says he's got a Crystal PSA 9 cracked ice. He's looking to move.
Probably could. Oh, that's the other. I'm glad he brings that up because with the, I think that's the next thing for S2 that needs to happen is the PSA 9s need to be appreciated a little bit more because they. I mean, I remember when I was selling my PSA 9s. My goodness, I was getting beat down so bad. I had to sell some for like $20 or $30 just to get them off. That was the worst I ever felt selling cards. Was selling those for like $20 or $30.
Yeah, and then 40 Phantom brings up a Peely Bone. He's definitely pretty valuable.
Yep, he's pretty valuable just because of his connection to Peely. I
Yeah,
never was a big fan of that card because it goes back to what we say, like in game.
yeah,
People don't even remember him being connected to anything Fortnite wise, other than being Peely.
yeah, yeah. He's known. He's a good card because he's a variation of Peely. Other than that, I mean, that's why he fetches that big prices because people want to match it with whatever Peely cards they have.
Yep.
But other than that, there's not a whole lot going for him. But that connection to Peely is a lot going for him. If you get what I'm saying.
Yule Trooper's the same way too.
Yeah, Yule Trooper. Yeah, Yule Trooper, I think might be a little bit worse than Peely Bone, just because I mean, no one remembers Yule Trooper at all. Peely Bone gets a little bit of love.
Mm, let me see if there's any. I can't really see any of the.
Oh yeah, Dylan brings up a good point about Peely Bone. They chose him for the Lego set for a reason.
Oh, Dylan, that is a good point.
I forgot about that. Yeah, that is a great thing to bring up, actually.
That's a really good point. Okay, this is what I always wanted to bring up with some people too. Was this the Ghoul Trooper zombie?
Okay.
So I understand it's a variation of Ghoul Trooper, and then it's said that it's not a good card, but it's how do you get Ghoul Trooper zombie? Like I don't even know how you get it.
So if you just buy Ghoul Trooper, wait, is she an edit style or an extra card? I can't remember. Or an extra.
That's what.
I can't remember. I think she's an edit style.
What does that mean?
I think Dylan would be the one to know about that. If she's an actually, I think she's an edit style. She's an edit style. If you buy her, you buy Ghoul Trooper, you get Ghoul Trooper Zombie, I believe.
Do you?
I think so.
I want to see what Dylan says about that then, because if that's the case, then that makes me even more surprised that she's not considered a top a like a pretty high skin. Like I'm a little surprised it's not considered a pretty high skin for a Series 3. It's an edit. Okay. What about Skull Trooper Inverted? Is that an edit too?
Yeah, it's also an edit style.
Why that's why I don't understand why they're not valuable.
You just no one uses them. I mean, that's just what they are. People go with the original, the OG style. I mean,
Like in game, people don't wear it.
yeah, in game people don't wear them.
That's so weird. Is it so? You know how we look at Fortnite GG? Is that data captured? Like I don't see a way to see how much people are wearing the zombie or Skull Trooper inverted.
I don't think there's a way to check the edit style usage rate. I don't believe there is. I think it just kind of encapsulated all in one skin as one figure.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like Moisty Merman has 4 edit styles. They don't display all 4 edit styles usage. They just show all in one for Moisty Merman.
So if you bought Moisty Merman, you automatically get all 4 edit styles?
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that. I gotta look at some of my skins now.
You said it needs to be a different skin for different data. It's like a Deadfire has a really nice edit style where he's white and blue instead of purple and green.
Okay, see, I gotta look more at the edit style. I just don't look. I don't even look at those things.
Yeah, a lot of skins have incredible edit styles.
Doesn't Arachne, is that an edit or is that a completely different one? The white one.
The white one, that's a completely different run. That's a completely different one.
Spider Knight too.
A Spider Knight, yeah. Yeah, so new edit styles that come out, they will add if you own the skin already. So yeah,
Oh, so maybe that's why I'm not. I didn't know about it because did they start doing that after chapter one,
I
or
think
was
they started that before chapter two started. They started that during chapter one, I'm sure of.
okay? Okay, so what's your knee jerk on the edit styles? Like when we get skins of edits in the Fortnite cards of bigger skins, like the inverted Skull Trooper, the Gold Trooper, and this is for Dylan too, because I don't think we really talk about the edits too much.
Yeah,
Uh, do you guys just think like is it should it be solo, or do you guys think it's about right price wise? Because it sounds like they're not worn.
yeah. I think the edit styles are a good way to get something of a skin like Skull Trooper. You get the inverted for whatever it is, 1/200th of the price of the shard. So I think they're good for that aspect to get something of that skin. But if you have the money to go for the actual card of the original skin of the popular
Mm-hmm.
edit style, I don't think there's any reason to go for the edit style unless you're just trying to complete the set.
Okay, because I know Dylan, he has no interest in the Ghoul Trooper zombie, even though he loves Ghoul Trooper. So that's an example of someone not really caring, even though they like the skin.
Yeah.
If they had a Moisty, one of the edits in Series 3, would you have been interested in that?
I definitely would have went after the card just because of how much I like Moisty, but I wouldn't because I only wear the green style, the original edit style. And then he has
Yeah.
like orange, a purple, and a red one or something like that. I don't ever wear those. I only wear the green one, but I'd still get them just because it is Moisty Merman. So I can see the same thing happening with Skull Trooper and Ghoul Trooper fans. They're going to get it just because it's a card of their favorite skin.
Mm-hmm. Because me, like, I love Omega. Like, if Omega had edit styles and then there's an edit style in Series 3, I probably would have for sure wanted to get it.
Oh yeah, me 200%. I would have. Oh yeah, definitely. Now I think about it because he has all the different lights: the green, the purple, the orange, and
Yeah.
the red. If they had any of those in Series 3 or Series 2, I would have definitely gone after that.
Yeah, I probably would have been buying a lot of them. I
Yeah,
get, but I guess the hobby's not big enough to really know how people are going to react with those. So I guess that's
yeah,
a time will tell type of thing.
yeah. That's definitely the thing. And it's like with a card like Skull Trooper and Ghoul Trooper Zombie, more or less. I mean, she's very similar to the original. I mean, just like the hair color and then the actual like the green skin tone is a little bit lighter. But there's just something about it. It just doesn't look as good because it's I don't know the Fortnite community isn't used to it. But yeah, like Dylan said, it's definitely skin specific because like it's still Ghoul Trooper, so people are still probably gonna like it to some extent. Just nowhere
Mm-hmm.
near the extent of the original, of course.
Okay, that makes sense.
I mean, what are your thoughts on like a? I mean, you held up the laser. What do you think of that for?
Uh, I mean, when I look at it, like when I got into the hobby, like I arrived like at the end of Series 2, right before Series 3 came out, and I was able to pick up skins like this, like the lasers, the cracked ice, all that type of thing. And I I always liked just how the skin looked, so I wanted to get one, and I felt like it. I guess I kind of felt like it was filling the void of not having the Ghoul Trooper Crystal Shard. Um, but I'm thinking like if I wasn't looking at value, I would still want the Ghoul Trooper Hollow over the laser if it was USA. So I guess it's when I'm saying out loud, I guess it is filling a void a little bit, but I like having it. Like I wouldn't sell it for what it's at right now.
Okay, I get that. And we have a question from 40 Fan. He asks, if Renegade Raider gets a card in tops and a top set, do you think that's a chase card?
The it depends on what else is in there because I think the chase card will be any card that didn't really get printed at all in the other sets. So like let's say what's that? There's a couple of skins that would have been
Well, the Reaper, the John Wick type skin, the Reaper skin from Chapter 3, I mean, Chapter 1, Season 3.
I
That
think
one's,
yeah, that's a good one.
but I'd still say Renegade would be the chase over Reaper.
Oh, you
I
think it
think,
would?
Yeah, I 100%. Dylan said that Renegade would be the chase. I 100% agree
Hmm.
that Renegade would be the chase. Just like how she's the most sought after rare skin in game, I believe she'd be the most sought after card in the community if she got a parallel one. Like I don't think the reloaded one, compared to the beauty of the other Fortnite cards, the reloaded one doesn't do Renegade justice. So that
Hmm.
card's definitely not a very high end card in my opinion. But if she did get a card in a top set with numbered parallels or just parallels in general, that's 100% the chase card.
Hmm. What about? Let me pull up Fortnite GG so I can see the some of the top ones that didn't get a card yet.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of skins as of late that have been pretty important in Fortnite. Like there's a skin called Hope that was released in Chapter 5, Season 1, and she's really important to the storyline, and she's pretty decently used, nothing crazy uses, but very important to the storyline. I feel like her card would be pretty sought after, in my opinion.
What about Eevee? Eevee is the one I always think of that I wanted to get.
Yeah, 100% Eevee would be a great card. I
So,
completely agree.
so let's say there was, let's say they do it just like how they do sports, and then there's a refractor Eevee and a refractor Renegade Raider. You would say the Renegade Raider would sell more than the Eevee,
I do. I think so, yeah.
and the same thing for like the core, Chrisabella, all those.
Uh, Chrisabella is actually I don't think she can compete with Renegade, but I think
Okay.
she's a fantastic one that because she was a free skin, so a lot of people have her and so many people used her. So I think she's a really good one, and a lot of people played that season. So that's looked at one of the most one of the best Fortnite seasons of all time is Chapter 3 Season 1, and she was given away for free in that season. So I think she'd be a fantastic card if she was in the next top set.
Okay, I like that perspective. I sometimes I don't realize how much, even though I was around for like early parts of Fortnite, I didn't realize people loved Renegade to that extent, even when I was playing it. But I get it when I hear you guys talk about it.
The love for Renegade actually picked up more towards the end of chapter 1 and the beginning of chapter 2 is when the love for Renegade Raider really spiked.
Oh, then that could be why that I don't really have as much. Okay, that makes sense.
Another one that would be big would be Aerial Assault Trooper. Um, it's he was released alongside our Renegade Raider in
Oh yeah,
chapter 1, season 1.
yeah.
Yeah,
You think
Dan,
people would go after that?
Dan said 1-on-1s would be the chase. Yeah, any card with a 1-on-1. So I mean, say Tops does like a normal set, every card will have a parallel. So every card would theoretically have a 1-on-1. So we're just kind of saying which card would be the best out of those.
So let's say you had your Moisty Merman PSA 10 Crystal Shard, and then they released the Moisty Merman in tops, and they're numbered. What number would make you trade for the Moisty, except for the 101? I would think
That's
everyone would do the 101.
that's the only number I'd give up the PSA 10 shard for would be the 1-on-1.
Oh wow, wow. Why do you say that?
Well, because all the other ones, I mean, usually it goes from 1 to 5 to 10 to 25.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's still 5 more or 4 more out of 5. There's still 10 out of 10. I mean, the 1-on-1 is the only one. That's the only card that'd get me to give a PSA 10 Moisty shard for.
Right,
And
but
plus,
say,
that's the OG Fortnite card. The Panini set was the beginning. That's what
mm-hmm.
we've known. That's what we've collected. That's what we've loved for all these years. So
Right.
the only one that'd be able to get me to give up a shard 10, the same skin in a 1-on-1 of a Topps card would be the 1-on-1. That'd be the only one that'd get me to give it up.
That sounds pretty fair. I think some people would do it for the out of 10, or even I think the out of 25 no, but I bet you will see people trading if it's a PSA 10 out of 10 like Omega. I bet you someone would do the trade for
And
their
it
card.
also all depends on how the cards actually look. If the top design looks bad, because we
Oh
know how
yeah,
beautiful the shards are. If the top design doesn't look any good,
yeah, I ain't
I mean,
doing
I
it.
could see the 1-on-1 not even being traded for a shard 10.
Yeah, that's true. I'm curious to see how people will react once this actually happens. How tightly they're actually going to hold their cards.
Yeah, and JT brings up a good one. OG Jonesy, the Chapter 1, Season 1 Jonesy. That would be a fantastic one to get.
I would love that one. That'd
Yeah,
be a fun one. Meow schools too.
yeah. Meowscles only made it in Reloaded.
Yeah. So, what's your sentiment on Reloaded in general? Do you value them to an extent, or would it just be like a cool card to have if they're PSA 10?
Oh, I actually really love Reloaded. I made a video a couple months back, and I said it was a Fortnite trading cards most complex set with all the different intricacies of the set of the different subsets in it. And I really gained a massive appreciation for Reloaded while making that video. I spent about like 6 hours just looking over everything in that set, and it really gave me a new look on that set. Before, I never really liked it, but they have so many cool and unique things in that set that I've grown to love. Even though I haven't really added them to my collection, I do love the Reloaded set.
Yeah, I've been liking it too. Besides just the base cards, like I think I have the Rocket right here too.
Yeah,
Like,
those.
I think they just look cool display wise.
My favorite ones are the event cards, where it goes over important points in Fortnite's timeline. I love those cards. I think those are fantastic cards that will be pretty sought after in the future.
What is there any outside of the end that are event cards like that?
Well, there's one for the World Cup.
Oh, I see that one. Yeah, that one's nice.
Yeah, then there's one for Chapter 1, Season 1, which is pretty cool.
I see that. Yep.
Yeah, those are like my top three. The end event, the World Cup, and Chapter 1, Season 1. Those are the three that I think are the best.
Those are some good ones.
Each game mode. Is there cards for different game modes? I think there is. Like, isn't there a card for 50v50 in Reloaded? I think there might be.
Oh, I feel like I've seen that too.
Yeah, there is. There is cards for different LTMs. So those are really good as well. Yeah.
There's a lot. Even the moving cards, I like them.
Yeah, those are really nice as well. They kind of have what the old baseball cards were like in the 80s and 90s. They had a lot of those. So
Yep.
I kind of like, because it also displays multiple edit styles of the skins, which is really cool.
And I thought it would pick up a little bit more with people even selling Reloaded, but people don't sell Reloaded cards. Like outside of Renegade Raider, I don't remember seeing one. I don't think I've seen any of them go for auction. That's like a new, like a not in the main set. I saw the Galaxy one for auction. That one sold for like $90.
Yeah, I did see a Galaxy for auction a while ago. Yeah, I think the Galaxy Reloaded card is a pretty good card actually, because the only other Galaxy card out there is the promo set one, and we know that can be pretty hard to obtain at some points.
Yeah.
So the Reloaded Galaxy could be pretty good. Yeah, honestly, all the promo set skins I think are going to be good cards, because that's the only card they have. They have no base, they have no holo, and they weren't available in Megas. Although the shards on the promos were a lot more common than other shards, they're a lot more rare than the cards in general because there's no holo and base cards for them.
That's true, and I think they're actually getting the raws of those have been selling a little bit too cheaply, because I think even the Trailblazer, I've seen that one sold for $20 a couple times.
I know I've seen them in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and it's honestly a shame because those cards are technically the rarest Fortnite cards we have.
Yeah, because I think people just think. I think we're making a mistake as a community is comparing them to crystal shards. I think you got to just look at it as it fills the void of the crystal shards, the hollows, and even the base.
Yeah, because I mean, like I just said, they are the rarest Fortnite cards we have, and because however many there are, that's how many. Because like, say there's 100 of this visitor crystal shard, there's 100 of them out there. He also has whatever 1,000 holos and 10,000 base cards or whatever, and he also has Italy and Brazil print cards.
Oh, that's true too.
The promo set has whatever 200 or 300 of that card. That's all there is for it. So that's why I like all those cards. I only own one. It's a Rogue Agent. He's the only one I own. He's a pretty cool card, but I think they're underrated just for that factor, because that's the only card of that skin you can get.
That's and then I think the best point you just made that I forgot, you can't even get the international card of them.
Yep.
You can't. I think, people are dropping the ball on that. I think that's got to be my next mission now that you say that. Even
promo set.
Yeah, I think those might be crazy underrated because you can't get them internationally either.
Yeah. Same thing with the Series 2 promo. Although all the skins in it suck, they're still so. I mean, okay, they're very common, but there's still no international, and there's still no base, holo, and Opti chrome of them.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, and then for me, I've been trying to work some in the trenches for the S3 Italy cracked ice, because it looks like PSA is actually going to start grading them.
Oh, nice.
So I just sent out a batch. So I'm hoping that they're going to actually grade it, and I'm just going to hold on to those. And I think that's another set. That means with how good that one is, even though there's three different parallels for that, you can't get the Optichrome, you can't get a Hollow. I mean, there's not a lot of options for that one either. So I think all of them are another good pickup if you can get that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, those Italy ones, the Italy promo set. That's honestly crazy to me that those even exist actually. Because I mean, like how are those even actually discovered? I'm trying to remember because I know those are the print runs on them are super scarce.
Oh man, that was a long story. I don't think you were in the Facebook group at that time.
I wasn't no.
So someone had bought a promo set from Panini Italy, and then they posted in the group, "Why does theirs look different?" Basically, and then when people saw it, they were saying like they were asking if the card was fake or whatnot. He said, "No, it's a real card, but it says Italy on the back." And he posted the picture. He flipped it over, and it showed Italy, and it showed that it was a crystal shard. I mean, a cracked ice, and it was in that Italy cracked ice pattern for Series 3. And people were like, holy crap. People were shocked on it. They didn't know what to say. I think people weren't making too big of a deal when it happened because I don't think people wanted it to skyrocket. Um, but then the people in Italy started to realize that that's a big deal. There wasn't a lot of them released. It sounded, I've talked to some people that were able to get their hands on the cards, and then they're very tight knit with how much information they give out internationally at times. But it sounded like it was released when they had a promo deal going out for trying to get the Italy S3 Megas out. And this is when Panini was losing their contract.
All right.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. So it had they released right when Panini was losing their contract. That's pretty interesting as well. So those are kind of like our last Fortnite cards too.
they were the last Fortnite cards, and then they think that reduced the print run because they didn't get to fully release all the promos because they lost the license, so they weren't even supposed to send them out.
Okay. And there's fantastic cards in the Series 3 promo set. Sky and TNTina. I have
Yep,
both of those. I have the Series 3 promo set is the only one I've completed. And it has two of my favorite cards being Sky and TNTina.
I love the TNT. I mean, and then we got the Chaos Agents in there too.
Oh,
Double H.
I forgot about the Gold Chaos Agent. Yeah, him too.
That's in there. There's another nice one in there too. That
Yeah,
set goes crazy.
yeah. The Series 3 promo set's actually a fantastic one. They really stepped up their game from the Series 2 one.
Yeah, that one. It's amazing. And then we're not even talking about the laser one. I think you would like the laser if you saw that in person.
Yeah, I know those Italy lasers in person look great. I haven't seen them any in person, the Italy lasers, but I heard they look great.
They look so good. They look really good too.
Yeah, it's like how different are they from the USA laser?
They have a different overlay. It looks more like I so me, I actually like the USA better. The Italy one kind of looks like a laser pattern if it was over foil. Not to be like saying it's bad. It just has a different kind of reflection when you look at it.
Okay.
It's almost like it's a laser optichrome, kind of. I like the USA better because you can just see the laser effect whenever you see it. I wish I had one on me.
I might have to
But
try to get an Italy laser just so I can see it because that sounds pretty cool, actually.
yeah, it looks different. I can see why some people say it's their favorite, but like when I look at the US, it doesn't look like this. Like whenever I just look at the USA one, it just looks like it fits the screen, like the skin. Like I feel like this is the way Fortnite wanted S3 to be is the lasers, because I just think it goes behind the skin so well. Same thing with this one. I just love the way they look on them.
Yeah, it's like my favorite card in a Series 3 is Mancake, and I only got his cracked ice. But I'd love to. I don't see any of his cards really pop up ever. I'd love to get a laser of him.
Yeah, they're tough to get, and they all look good. Even the Mancake cracked ice, it looks great too.
Yeah,
S3 looks good. S3 gets overlooked too.
yeah, yeah. This stream has had a nice flow to it. We talked about what we liked about all three sets, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and JT said Italy is darker as well.
Yep, I think that's part of it too. Italy is darker. Um, but it's I don't know. I haven't gone deep enough into S3 Italy compared to S1 and S2, so maybe one day I'll dive a little bit more and see anything else I can think of with it. But that's probably the one that had the least amount of information on.
Okay, yeah. Um, but I think is there anything else you want to touch on, or has this been good? Is there anything
No,
else you bring up, or this
I
was
think
a
that's
great stream?
yeah. I appreciate you having me on.
Oh, I appreciate you coming on, man. It was a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if you want to, so you're Common Americans on Instagram, and
Yes.
anything else? Any your eBay you want to shout out or anything? Anyone can where they can find you?
Common Americans on Instagram. You can always message me there. I think I have my YouTube. I haven't been using it as much because I've been so busy. But it's just Kari if you ever want to see it. But nothing really. I mean, you can always message me on Instagram if anyone has questions. I'm just kind of here in the community to have fun. This is still just a hobby for me for the most part. So I'm not
All
really
right.
doing anything crazy.
Well, this was a great stream, man. Once again, thank you for coming on, and anybody who tuned in, thank you for watching. And I'll see anybody watching in the next video I make or the next live stream. Thank you, everybody.
All right. See y'all.
See ya.